There we go. Roger, I got him. I'm on the scene. I see him. Get back. You can't steal that. Alright, for YouTube, for everyone concerned, disclaimer, Myles is going to be doing, does all the research on all the guns. He's going to be doing most of the reviews on the guns. He's not a kid that got into dad's safe, found the camera, and is video and taping guns. He is under my supervision 100% of the time. Anytime you're messing with guns, I'm behind the camera all the time. So it's not like he just found a gun and put it on YouTube. I'm 100% under my supervision anytime he's touching guns and doing anything.
Hey, Myles from Go-nee-uh Outdoors, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Beretta 92 FS. This one is in 22 LR. We want to get a 9mm, but that's, of course, just hopes and dreams. So, before the FS, we had many models, and even before those models, we had the Beretta M1923 and the M1951, which were both 9mm handguns, but they only featured single stack magazines. And at the time that Beretta was starting to make new pistols, military and police wanted better guns, with the double stack magazine most prominently featured in the Browning High Power. So in 1975, Beretta came out with the 92 pistol, which only had a rounded trigger guard and had a frame-mounted safety, which was only on the left side of the weapon. Now this model set the standard for the 92 series with its 4.9-inch barrel and its locking block design and short recoil operation. Now in 1976, they came out with the 92S, which stands for safety in Italian. I don't remember the word exactly, but it featured the safety on the left side of the weapon and also had a decocker. It also moved the safety from next to the slide release to on the actual slide itself instead of in the frame. This one also moved the magazine release from right here on the weapon to in front of the trigger. However, these few models had the same problem where the firing pin would break and start breaking apart the slide. So in 1983, they came up with the 92F. What are you... You boys like Mexico? Woo! There's never a dull moment here. Anyway, the 92F fixed the firing pin problem and changed the grip shape. Now this model here is the 92FS. However, this one is in 22, and of course the standard M9 and 92FS is in 9mm. So the US Air Force launched a trial in the 1980s, 70s, around that time, which Beretta had actually won in comparison to many other brands like Colt and FN. It was beat out by the 92FS, which would later become the M9 with a better coating, coated magazines, pretty much fixing some of the weaker points and made it more of a martial design. In 2006, the US military wanted a more modernized design. So they came out with the M9A1, which featured a single slot Picatinny rail on the frame, used for weapon lights, lasers, those types of sighting aids. And in 2015, they came out with the M9A3. However, they tried the M9A2. However, nothing really came of that. It was only a prototype, and it had a lot of flaws. So they came out with the M9A3, and it was a much more modernized design by today's standards. It had a 3-slot Picatinny rail. It came in multiple colors such as black, OD green, flat dark earth. It had changeable sights, changeable grips, and the frame was slimmed down a little bit so it would be better for concealed carry. And only a few years ago in 2021, they came out with the M9A4, which was a further modified version. The only noticeable change, however, is just it has a optic mount. However, in 2017, the M9 was completely phased out and switched to the M17 and M18, of course being the P320 military models, which, of course, is still having its problems.
Go ahead.
And the company is not wanting to acknowledge those problems as well. Overall, you get this, the Beretta 92FS, one of the most common, eye-catching, and famous military pistol designs of all time. Even normies who watch any action movie from the 80s know this gun by heart. So, I have the gun here, and got a few rounds loaded in the mag. Manual of arms, very simple, of course. Magazine release right in front of the trigger. Magazine in, out. Has a single and double action hammer with a decucker safety, ambidextrous on both sides, and of course, usual manual of arms for a handgun. Created some staples for that. So, let's shoot it. Ow! Powder burn. Ow! Man. Man. I should probably clean this because I burned my hands a few times on the powder. Of course, features a last round
Burned
hold
a little
open.
bit there?
Yeah. Powder sprayed back and burned
the
me.
Powder or the shell casing?
Powder, I think.
Yeah, we'll get it cleaned up then. That'll be your next job.
Of course, features a slide stop assisted by when the magazine is empty. Then the slide stop moves up, stops the slide from going forward to let you know when your gun is empty to reload. Okay, now for disassembly, for cleaning or replacing parts, it's actually very simple. That's why it was chosen by the military and police agencies alike. So first, take your mag out. Of course, clear the weapon, as with any weapon, and you're going to want to turn the safety off. And there is a button located right in front of the trigger guard that you press, and you flip the weapon over. Then you take this swivel that over, and the slide just pops right off. And it just slides right off the frame. Then you have your trigger, your hammer, your magazine, your slide stop. This is pretty much like the guts of the gun. And this is your slide. To further take it apart, to clean the barrel or switch out a spring or something, you gently press on the recoil spring, you take it all out, and push the barrel forward slightly, and then it tilts out, and that comes out. It's very similar to a lot of Browning style pistols. And then you have access to the firing pin, the safety mechanism, and the barrel, which is of course going to be the dirtiest. Ooh, look at that, we haven't cleaned that in a while. It's pretty gross. And the recoil spring. Now for reassembly, pretty much the exact same thing in reverse. take the barrel, slide it in, and then push it back against the chamber. And you take the op rod, make sure that the textured part is facing outward, push it in, and you gently squeeze the spring, and it's in. Now, take it, slide it on the frame, make sure it lines up with the grooves, and it will slide right on. There. I want to take a tiny bit of pressure. And do function check. There. And it's back together. It was a little touch and go, but it only takes a slight amount of pressure on the slide just to get that swivel to go back up. Thanks for watching the video. Myles from Go-nee-uh Outdoors. Support the troops, think of it, and go catch some deers.